It's time for Cats Talk Wednesday. Small town and big city joined forces. Vinny Hardy of Lynch, Kentucky, and Terry Brown of Louisville, Kentucky, team up to give you free-flowing, laid-back sports talk. Focus on Kentucky Wildcats, as well as pertinent information in the NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball.
And here we are, y'all. Cast Talk Wednesday. Terry, Tungsten on Brown, Vinny Hardy, Anchor, Roku, Spotify, Stitcher, Twitter, Facebook, Cast Talk Wednesday. Wherever you look, we're there. And now you can see us because of Roku, the BS3 network. Appreciate everybody that pulls us up on your devices. BS3 TV. Got the live web link. And you can find us there too. So we definitely appreciate it. You heard Ben on the intro, voicing us on the way in, as he does each and every week. We appreciate that. Appreciate y'all listening. Appreciate you being here, TB, man. How's everything up in Iowa way?
Another good week. We're doing all right here in the upper Midwest. So yeah, no complaints. I still got my dog all over the place, but we're doing good.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. We inching our way towards football. We got a guest on, a friend of the show coming up about an hour or so. Kevin McGuffey from LEX18 writes for Last Word on college football. Talk a little football with him. He got some articles up, and we got, like you said before we came on, a calm, more normal type of week. Didn't have any fireworks or no back and forth, so it was things settled down a little bit.
Absolutely, everybody's moving forward. Hopefully, onward and upward. Just the inter-family dynamics. I'm glad it died down. We need Stoops. We need Cal. We need all these coaches doing well. Volleyball starts here pretty soon, number 7 in the country. They've got a really tough road out of conference that they need to that they're going to have to take on. So it's that time of year where, hey, we finished number 9 in the country last year when it came to athletic departments, and I think we can shoot for a top 5 finish. That's got to be the goal across the board.
That's right. So, just a few short years ago, that wasn't a thought in a lot of people's mind. No doubt it was a vision for Mitch Barnhart. He laid that out to the department. We had Dwayne Peavy on a couple times on here before he went to DePaul.
Mm-hmm.
He talked about that vision and the steps that were put into place to get them to where they are. And so they had that foresight long before it became a reality for everybody else to be like, whoa, they finished top 10. But they were already working on it years ago.
Right. And I get it. I've had these discussions on Spaces, on Twitter. Look, I get it. When you think the football team's not getting something, there's somebody to blame, right? Last thing I'll talk about this. Look, there was all that investment in the football team when they were a 2-win, 5-win team, right? Close to $200 million. That was good. And it just so happened that at that point, the university said, we've got to invest in these other things.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happened to be at the same time football gets a 10-win season, another 10-win season, making some waves. And now people think the football team has been neglected simply because we've been trying to focus in on other things. Now, as I've always said, if you're a Kentucky basketball fan, great. Men's basketball, if that's your thing, great. If you're a football fan, you care about football, great. But there are people, most notably Mitch Barnhart, that has to pay attention to the other things. And so the funny thing is, a lot of these folks I've seen complain that they think football is getting the shaft, and they think that investment in some of these programs is not necessary. Some of those same folks been beating their chest when the volleyball team wins national championship. Some of those same folks beating their chest when tennis is second in the country, men's tennis. When the women's swimming and diving team wins an SEC championship. A whole lot of folks beating their chest when Sydney McLaughlin and Abby Stamler uh, win gold medals at the world championships and are setting world records. So if you're going to beat your chest on those things, then you have to understand there's got to be investment across the board.
Mhm.
And as I've always said, you can say, is there more the athletic department can do as far as funding um, for facilities? Okay, that's a discussion, right? You can have that discussion,
Mhm.
but the folks that say Mitch doesn't want to pay anything to football,
Yeah, that's
in Spaces last night, Brando King on Twitter was basically like, yeah, people forget Rupp has had this ongoing renovation for like 5 years. Big Bertha came down. All the new wraparound scoreboards, all that stuff, a new court. I know the new court is a sore spot with some folks, but there have been these upgrades.
the parking lots, all that outside stuff going
Right. And we don't know the university's portion of that, but it ain't free.
on. Right.
So there are things that you kind of take for granted that are going on that, you've got to figure into the equation.
Yes, sir.
And I mean, that's just the way I feel. Like I said last week that we needed an. Oh, can you hear me? I hit the mute button on my thing.
Yeah.
We need an athletic director that was good at PR. That's not Mitch. It's never going to be Barnhart's strong suit.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to get him to a point where he's not making things worse. When he talks, we need to get to that point because that press conference was a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
But again, if your contention is he somehow does not want Kentucky to be successful, where's your proof?
No.
Where's your proof? You just can't wave a magic wand and these things appear. Now, we can talk about the billions. I think the $7 billion playing $8 billion TV package the Big Ten's getting. Well, the SEC gonna get better than that.
Yep. It's like when what they signed Wilt Chamberlain to $100,000 deal and Arback signed Russell to $100,001.
Right. So we know that's going to happen. Now, when that kind of money starts falling through, you can do different things. But the other issue is that people don't care about, for whatever reason, is if you go on Kentucky's campus, the question is, where do you put things?
Mm-hmm.
If basketball needs a brand new practice facility, I don't know if you've been on, Euclid and Rose on campus. Something got to come down.
Yeah.
And so the situation is, I love Kentucky basketball as much as the next person. But what do you take down to build brand new?
Mm-hmm.
And so if we're still going to use the craft center moving forward and build something else, I would have an issue tearing down something academic related and building a brand new basketball facility.
Yeah. That won't fly. Yeah,
I think,
if it does, it'll have a lot of resistance if it does fly.
and talking on Round of Shots, and Carrie Lewis of Girls Beer and Sports, who we need to get on here, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
was just talking about this year's freshman class at UK. 6,000 students, biggest ever, right? Like when you were our in school, it wasn't quite like, I think we might have had 3,500, maybe. I can't remember what our freshman class. Anyway, long story short, they tore down the Kerwin Blanding complex dormitories. They ran out of room. There's no room for all the freshmen to come onto campus.
No.
So when you're looking at capital projects, I think it would be egregious to have practice facilities go up and you don't have housing for all your students.
Yep.
If we pretend that the University of Kentucky is an academic institution, if we just pretend that for a moment, then there are other capital projects that you probably have to rain down on.
Yeah.
Because Kentucky, they're landlocked, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've been landlocked. The campus has been landlocked. For new stuff to go up, old stuff's had to come down.
Nope.
And if it's a situation where we don't have housing for all the students, that to me is a priority.
Yeah. You think Stoops and Cal brought bad publicity? Let that continue to happen where the freshmen have nowhere to go. That'll get you a black eye even more so.
Right. You got to turn students away because you've got nowhere to put them.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is a non-starter.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of things more than just flipping a switch and getting things done. It's easy to say, oh, just pay, just spend the money.
Yeah.
But all those projects on campus, there's a process for that.
That was Mitch's word, processes. That's it.
So could you say Mitch could do more? Maybe, I guess. I don't know. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
And there were so many varying opinions about the whole Cal Stoops thing. There was Cal is cool with saying that. He's fine with saying that. Stoops is sensitive, and Stoops was right. The whole pantheon was covered based on where you want to side and all of that. But Cal's thinking, like you said, if something's gonna go up, something has to come down. It's not a matter of just spend the money, do this, do that. I think Cal kind of thinks that we can have an architect draw the plans up. If we ain't got the money, I got 4 players that want to do it. I think in his mind, hey, let's go. I think he hasn't really looked at the big picture as far as that goes in his mind. He just wants a facility, and I think he's a little bit, maybe got blinders on as far as the whole rest of the way things work.
And every coach, everybody wants their own. We could go to the Kim Fizz people, and they would want that building redone, right? The people that work in Funkhauser want that redone. Whitehall, the Patterson office tower, right? Like every group wants money, right? They're the priority, whatever your group is on campus.
Mm-hmm.
The question I always ask is, okay, you're saying that the Craft Center for basketball is outdated. Okay. It was built 2008, 2009, something like that. Okay.
Brand new for Billy G.
Right. But my question would be, what is the expectation? How often should they get something new?
Mm-hmm.
Because you could build a new facility. You could be in a constant state of building and renovating. At some point, you got to stop, I would think. How often? Because look, I just built this house, right? Just went up, whatever it's done. Anyway, I know in about 5 to 10 years, it's going to look dated, right? Like that's just how these things go. So we have to have an appreciation that at some point, your brand new thing is not going to be brand new. At some point, everything catches up. And then for a moment, you might look around and you might say, whoa, I've still got shag carpeting in here. Like, at some point, every new thing becomes an old thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jerry World, AT&T Stadium down there in Dallas.
Hey man, I mean, it might be about the same age. It was 9 years ago. I was looking at pictures today. It was 9 years ago when I was down there touring it. It was 2013.
Right.
And, the humongous, the beams, the steel, you know how it's laid out. The big, huge bolts holding that down into the big concrete slab to, keep the structure, standing.
Mm-hmm.
When I was there, then you could see, little things rust on the bolts and stuff. It's been out in the weather already, but that stuff, It happens. This, like you said, over time, it's inevitable.
Things just get old and outdated.
Yeah.
I'm old enough to remember Sky Dome, how cool that was.
Yeah.
And now they've got the Rogers Center. Like everything that was new at one point, like, is old now. Your Braves have been through 3 stadiums
And
in a quarter century.
Turner Field, I mean, stuff does get old, but Turner Field was still cool. It was the Rangers just got a new one beside of the Cowboys. I went to a Rangers game when we was in Dallas. That stadium was still look good. I had some look at the Astrodome next to NRG Center where the Texans play, and it looks like a kid's treehouse. And it was the 8th wonder of the world back in 1965.
Right. And my point is, yes, do I want Kentucky to have the best facilities for everything? Yes. However, you have to be realistic and understand at some point, yes, you'll have the latest and greatest, but at other points, things might start to look dated. And
about Rupp all the time, especially on the outside, the way it was built in the 70s, the architectural way of the world back then. That's
that 1970s, we're going to make this stadium arena good for everything. It's not great for a lot of things. That's what Rupp is about. And I've been on record. Rupp is Rupp because of the good teams.
Yeah.
There's nothing about the arena itself that is special or unique.
Got a guest coming. I'll go ahead and tease it. Got an email about, we've had authors on before, and people write books and stuff. And Arthur's got a book coming out in November about all of the venues for Kentucky history. So Alumni Gym, Memorial Coliseum, Rupp Arena. We'll get a date and all that. But the book focuses more on the venues in addition to the players and stuff that played there and all those stories. So that perspective is going to be, I think, interesting when we had this dude on.
Right. And I just there's always something that needs repair.
Mm-hmm.
The AC doesn't particularly work well in Memorial Coliseum.
Right.
They just got a new scoreboard in there, did some paint, but there's structural things because Memorial Coliseum is old.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and another thing, Mitch gets all the blame, which, he's a big boy. That's part of it. But the athletic department, any collegiate athletic department, is run the way the biggest boosters want it to be run.
Mm-hmm.
Had friend of the show, Adam Jacoby, over on Sunday, and he was talking about how he and a friend went to the NCAA tournament when it was in Kansas City a few years ago, and Ole Miss was there. And he said he's sitting down at this bar in the hotel talking. This guy, this older gentleman, very nondescript, no fancy clothes, no whatever. They start talking to him, and he's an Ole Miss booster. Okay. And as they're sitting there, I can't remember the name, played football at Ole Miss, was on the Chiefs at the time, and some other guys come up to this guy, hugs, high fives, blah, 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 blah. And this dude was talking about how he flies around on his private jet to watch Ole Miss play whatever. And, there are the boosters whose names we know, right? They want their name on a building. They want to be in the pictures with Cal, in the pictures with Stoop. And then there are the dudes and ladies who write big checks. We don't know who they are. Right? Mm-hmm. Those are the people, to quote Lil Wayne, real G's move in silence like lasagna. If you're writing checks with enough zeros and commas, people don't have to know who you are. But that this athletic department is doing what you want to do. That to me is a flex.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is it a flex to say, oh, Cal uses my plane? Yeah. But you can sit there and this dude, nondescript, right? not flashing anything, but he had that juice. He knew he had that juice.
Mm-hmm.
Every college athletic programs got boosters like that, where we don't know who they are, but the athletic department moves how they want it to move.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So when people say, mention this checkerboard, look, people who pay more money than you and I like the checkerboard, so it stays.
Mm-hmm.
People that donate more than you and I didn't like the basketball team in the black uniforms, so we didn't do it.
Yep.
So you can talk about taking your, season tickets, this, that, and the other. That's fine. That's fine. Like, okay, if you don't want to renew your tickets, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Those people, those are the ones that get catered to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, TB, that's not right. Welcome to the way of the world. If it's 2022 and you're just now figuring out that big money talks, I don't know what to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
But every athletic department, those big boosters, that's why you're screaming to the void when you're talking about Rupp Arena and the blue hair sitting courtside.
Right.
That's not going to change ever. Ever.
Yeah.
Well, he just caters to the rich people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because the rich people, like the Bells, will sign a check. Oh, you need a soccer stadium? Here you go.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You got money like I ain't got money like that.
Oh, no, man.
Like, so
No, sir.
those are the people. And look, I know that there are people that like the way the athletic department is being run. We talked about it last week. The Kentucky athletic department is self-sufficient. No funds, no tax money, no student fees, nothing. That's a source of pride. It's a source of pride that when COVID hit, not one person in the athletic department lost their job.
Mm-hmm.
Not one.
Yep.
That's a source of pride. You, regular fan, may not care, but the people that fund this athletic department care about those things.
Yeah.
They care.
Sure do.
So, again, I don't know what to tell you, but hey, it is what it is.
Yes, it is. One more little BS3 moment or note. The BS3 Awards are coming up next Tuesday on the 30th. And I think we're nominated for the most consistent podcast. And they got one in here for, if I can find it, it says supporter of the year. And so I figured, like biggest fan, that's what I took it as. So I sent him Michelle Morton, our number one fan, who has listened to every episode more than once. She'll tweet out sometimes listening to old episodes of Cats Talk Wednesday. So he put out 3 or 4 different podcasts. Their supporters. Michelle is listed as ours on the Facebook page. I'm going to try to get that link and copy it and tweet it out. And Michelle, you are nominated as a supporter of the year in the category for the BS3 Awards for our show, Cats Talk Wednesday. And we are in the running against... Of course I can't. Of course I'm struggling now. Let's see. We are in the running against... Hang on. Here we go. The show called The Forecast. Theodora Harper is their supporter. Suds Are Us, which is Ben's mom and dad, Mr. and Mrs. Sutterth. Josephine Killian is nominated as their supporter of the year. Overton Claiborne is a network supporter. He's nominated. And Michelle Morton, Cats Talk Wednesday. So get on there on Facebook and vote. I'm going to try to get that link out there so Michelle can tweet it out and get all the people on Facebook to vote for Michelle, who is far and away our supporter of the year. Always repping for us and listening to all the podcasts. But she gives us love each and every week and has for years. So thank you, Michelle.
Absolutely.
Man,
I'm gonna have to reboot my computer here, Vinny. So
okay. I understand. I'm slow.
all that kind of stuff. So bear with me. I'll be right back.
All right. We all understand that and have those technical difficulties. Y'all listen for a long time. Y'all know I cause most of them. Mashing the wrong button or hitting this when I should have hit that, zigging when I should have zagged. All that kind of stuff happens from time to time. We got Kevin McGuffey coming up at 7:15ish. Get him on here. I gotta send him the link too, by the way. LEX18 News in Lexington. And he writes for Last Word on sports, specifically college football, specifically UK. So he's got an article up about Kentucky's tight ends, who a lot of people are raving about. They're getting a lot of love. Terry's former offensive coordinator in San Francisco, Rich Gangarello, used those tight ends a lot, i.e. George Kittle. So now he comes over here to UK. Dingle, Keaton Upshaw, Isaiah Cummings, Josh Caddis, Bates. The tight end room is loaded, and he's going to incorporate that into the offense and supposedly, getting a lot of love. And Scangarello really likes the guys there that he's coaching. And Kevin McGuffey has written an article about those UK tight ends. When TB comes back, going to backtrack a little bit. It was dead of summer. Seemed like there's not a lot going on. Not as much to talk about now as when the season starts, as when there are when games are actually going on. But yet it seems like even every week there's still stuff that we don't get to before the show's over with. Well, sometimes it just floats away and we never talk about it. Sometimes we backtrack and go back to something that we meant to talk about a couple of weeks ago or when it was more current 2 or 3 weeks ago, but still holds enough weight to be talked about, even though we're a little late getting to it. So got a couple of things I want to get to with TB when he comes back. Do the old backtrack, if you will. So, and y'all will definitely probably think it's holds enough weight to be talked about, even though it's not as hot of a topic as it was a few weeks ago. So get TB back in here in just a little bit. Have homie Kevin McGuffey on here. And I'm going to let y'all know now while TB's gone, I'm going to go ahead and ask him some of the same stuff I asked Keith Farmer of BBN Tonight. When Keith Farmer was on here, TB was rolling his eyes because I was asking him stuff, some news type questions, some news gripes I had. Who better to ask than somebody who works in the newsroom, who works at the news station? So I'm going to ask Kevin McGuffey a couple of those same questions, get his thoughts on it. TB's going to try to clown me. I'm going to say this when he comes back on as well. He's going to try to clown me about the questions I'm going to ask Kevin, but I want to get Kevin's thoughts on it. Not that I watch the news religiously every single day, but I got questions. I got gripes. I'm going to get all that off my chest when Kevin McGuffey comes on here in about a half an hour. So look forward to that. It's always fun having first-time guests, which we're going to have some of them coming up, or guests we've had on multiple times. And this is probably the third time maybe we've had Kevin on. I always have him on periodically. So looking forward to it. I'm going to go ahead and play our promo video. We'll get that going. We got a new updated promo video for the BS3 network, and y'all can check out all the podcasts we're proud to be associated with. If you want to advertise on the network, feel free. TB and I would love to promote your business or product here on our show. We'll go out to all everybody who watches on Roku and listens as well. So we'll go, and also on audio side too. You get talked about there as well. So we'll play the promo right now, and we'll get TB back in here, and we'll keep the show rolling. Here's the new promo, y'all.
BS3 Network. changing the way you watch TV.
So we got the new promo played. Filibustered and rambled a little bit while TB was out. We got TB back. Talked about Kevin McGuffey coming on.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you good. And I went ahead and told the people that I was going to ask Kevin a couple of questions that you're going to clown me about. The same stuff you clowned me about when Keith Farmer was on. My little news gripe questions. And you was, griping like I was an old man who watched the news at 4, ate dinner at 5, watched the news again at 6, tried to stay awake for Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy from 7 to 8. But I'm gonna hit Kevin with a couple of them little questions, see what he says. But I got to backtrack too, man. You know how sometimes, even though it's the dead of summer, there's still stuff we don't get to, believe it or not. It's like, oh, we didn't talk about this. We didn't talk about that. Sometimes we backtrack and get it, and sometimes it just, never gets talked about. But this one, man, we got to backtrack because friend of the show, you got him on here once several years ago, Matt May, who associate AD for baseball, our age, just had a stroke. And I saw where Dick Gabriel had tweeted it out a few days ago, and you and I both been on his show, and read the article. UK Healthcare put the article out about how life-changing it was, and he's on the road to recovery, and how big a help his wife was, and what a shock that was for him, and what he was feeling, and how it was happening, and how they discovered it, and the whole thing. But we hadn't talked about it. I meant to say something about it last week, and I don't forget, it just didn't happen. But definitely thinking about our guy Matt May. Like I said, you know him a little better than I do, and you got him on here for a minute, 2 years back. But
yeah, we
40,
ran around together.
Yeah, well, you ain't 44 no more. Me and Matt still 44. Matt had a stroke, and definitely wanted to talk about that for sure, man.
Oh yeah, when I got that text message from mutual friends a couple of months ago, I guess, and just keeping tabs on him that way. I did not want to put that out there. That's not my news to share, but just keeping track of him from afar, and it's scary stuff because you don't think, being 44, 45 that you would have to worry about such things. That always seems like an older person issue, but definitely I'm glad he's on the road to recovery. And guys and everybody, we got to take our health serious. So I really am glad he's doing well. His wife Carmen is awesome. He's got 2 little boys, and so I'm glad he's doing well.
And you and I try to stay healthy and eat right, and you running, and you look at Matt, that dude in great shape, man. Still thin and slim. Yeah. And I mean, you never think something like that would happen to him. Man.
But that's the way it goes sometimes. So definitely I'm glad that he's back.
Yeah. So definitely to give our good thoughts out to Matt May and his family, and meant to do it last week. Another thing too, man, I forgot to mention too. We gotta give congrats to Ryan Howard winning Rookie of the Year for the WNBA. Just
Yeah.
balled out from start to finish. As soon as she set foot on the court in Atlanta Dream uniform, I mean, the
Yeah.
transition was as smooth as it could be for her.
Rookie of the month every month.
Swept it.
And again, it goes back to, if you're going to beat your chest and say all cats everything, obviously the NBA, now the NFL, now the WNBA,
Mm-hmm.
now track and field. You know, it's an all sports school,
Yo.
and it could be, and that's the thing. I touched on this on Round of Shots. Is, look, going to Rupp, going to Kroger Field, cheering on those guys, that's great. But if you're not paying attention to those other sports, you're missing out on great teams and great players.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Because Ryan Howard, probably the best women's basketball player of our lifetime, of our, I know Valerie Still's on that Mount Rushmore still by herself, but of who we've watched,
Right.
we've watched some great ones come through,
Mm-hmm.
but Ryan may be the best. And so catching her at Memorial Coliseum is great.
Mm-hmm.
Going out to some of those track meets and seeing, it's not often you can go see a world record holder
Mm-hmm.
in person. So if you're only paying attention to those two sports, you're missing out, I think, on a lot.
Yep. Yep. So congratulations to Ryan Howard for sure. Um, from the ridiculous, hard to believe, that you saw it happen, but it did happen, unfortunately. Your Akeem Talib's brother, who murdered a ref at the youth football game, and that gets we talked about, we've been on this show long enough, when Tyler Summit had the inappropriate relationship with one of his players, all the headlines said, son of Pat Summit, UT Hall of Fame head coach. All the headlines, brother of Akeem Talib, NFL cornerback, brother of Akeem Talib. To see this, to have this ref lose his life in front of his son and all those other kids watching is inexcusable. I mean, that's, what are we doing?
It's not that serious.
No.
And we keep saying that, but it's not that serious. It's almost weekly that you see a story of someone going way above in their interaction with a youth official or a youth coach. It's not that serious. Big time coaches make mistakes, right? We've seen it. Phil Jackson has made some mistakes. Bill Belichick has made some mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of it, right? Big time officials make mistakes all the time.
Yeah.
But I'm not advocating that you go rough up Teddy Valentine,
Mm-hmm.
or that you be ridiculous with John Higgins and his roofing business. But it's gone too far.
I mean,
And part of that is on us, but sports has become, it's too much. And everyone thinks that their kid is the next whoever, whatever the sports is. Next Wayne Gretzky, next Michael Jordan, next Tom Brady. And the chances are probably not.
mm-hmm.
When you start looking at the numbers, the NFL, so you got 53-man rosters, 30 teams. So 30 and 50, was it 1,000 guys?
Yeah, 1,500 at the most, something like that. Mm-hmm.
And you think about all of the people, all of the guys on college rosters,
Right.
and then you work backwards to high school.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, for high school, for junior youth sports. It should be to just have fun.
Mm-hmm.
But somewhere along the way, and it's got nothing to do with kids and participation ribbons. It's got to do with parents taking it way too serious.
Yeah.
Like chances are your kid is not going to go pro in whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go on these traveling teams that are hundreds of dollars, if you are devoting this much, I get it. You want return of investment, but it's not that serious.
Yeah.
You know, my dad told me a long time ago, very honestly, I told him I was going to be the next Michael Jordan. And I went out playing Little League basketball, and I think I missed all my shots. And he said, well, son, you should probably hit those books. And, you know, some people might say, oh, you can't crush a young person's dream. Yeah, you have to. Because he knew early on, watching me do sports, that wasn't going to be how I got my scholarship. He told me to hit the books, and that's how I got my free ride.
Nope.
So it wasn't about squashing my dreams. It's like, look, it ain't happening. You know, and we can talk about all these people, you know, these elite athletes that, look, anybody at the professional level has beaten the odds just to get there. And to be elite, you're beating the odds even more. You know, because you see these coaching memes that come across, and, you know, Michael Jordan didn't make his JV team. Okay, we know that was a bunch of BS. We know that story. That's not how it. And then he also grew, right?
Yep.
Well, Scottie Pippen went to Central Arkansas. He was a 6'1" point guard who grew 7 inches once he got to college. Like, you have to tell that part of the story, right? Like, it wasn't just because he worked hard. No, you've got to have physical tools to do it.
Yeah.
And
You seen
the
the clip of Michael Jordan's brother Larry, who you know, supposedly had just as much hang time, just as much hops, but he was my height, so we never knew nothing about Larry Jordan.
Right.
And
you can point to, well, there's Spud Webb, there's Muggsy Bogues. That's two. Right? Maybe an Earl Boykin, but
Mike
that's now
Adams.
3, right? And and that's the thing too, is you can't crush somebody's dreams. Look, if you're not 6'4", 6'5", the NBA probably ain't for you.
No.
You know, that's not being mean. That's being real to your kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like this may not be what you can do, and you can want it, and you can manifest it. It ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. But we've made youth sports such a thing that I told you, man, look, I officiated some basketball games at the junior level when I was at UK, and woo, this was just a recreational league. I was like, you got to be kidding me, man.
Yeah.
Championship game, we got escorted off the court like it was the NBA Finals. Like the horn sounded. I remember there was a timeout with like 5 seconds left or whatever, and the director came to me and the guy doing it. He's like, because usually we just go, we change in the bathroom, and we leave. He's like, y'all need to just get out of here. Just get in your car and go. The horn sounded, and we got escorted out, and I'm like, what in the world? We just all take this too serious.
Yeah.
At this lower level. So
Mm-hmm.
Is it the kids? Yeah, but it's the adults doing that kind of stuff. And you have to understand, your kid ain't going to be competing as a career.
Right.
There's life lessons to be learned, to be sure. And even that, I think, is a little misconstrued.
Yeah.
Because, look, I love football. I watch football, high school, college, pro, even the XFL and whatever other league they throw out there. I watched that league that had the Claymores versus the Rain Fire, whatever that was, the World League.
World League.
I will watch that. I'll watch some CFL.
Yeah.
But this notion that football makes you a man, I think I'm a fully functional man, never played football. My dad never played. My brothers never played. Are we not full men?
Mm-hmm.
And this notion that, well, football gets you ready for life. Okay. So do other things. Other things teach you teamwork and accountability without being yelled at.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these coaches, and I'm going to say it, just want to yell at kids. Well, that makes you tough. Nowhere else in society can a grown adult yell at an underage kid and it's okay.
Yep.
No other segment of society is it considered okay to yell at somebody if they make a mistake and cuss somebody. You can go to the hospital. Doctor can ask for some forceps. The nurse hand him whatever. He can't cuss her like that.
Yeah. Sure
And that's life and death.
Yeah, literally for real, yo.
You know, my stepson is he's going to school to be one of those linemen to work on the 50 and 40-foot poles.
More power
Yeah.
to him. More power to him.
They not cussing him like that.
Mm-hmm.
I even saw a documentary thing, even in the military. It's not like Full Metal Jacket where those dudes are just cussing you up and down. We've moved on from that.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we all at every level take this stuff way too serious. And I'm not pointing fingers. I take Kentucky basketball probably a little bit too serious. Kentucky football, that stuff should not affect my mood. Shouldn't impact my mood, but it does. Not as much as it used to, but it still does.
Mm-hmm.
And if my wife would come in here, look, I'm watching the 49ers in the playoffs, right? Close game against Dallas, close game against Green Bay, close game against the Rams. And even when, the 49ers are up and it's still, I'm like, you know what? Sports are dumb. Why am I doing this to myself? You ever just sit there watching the game like, what? Why am I doing this to my, like, I'm willingly putting my body through this. What am I doing? Right? Like at the end of the day,
like Seinfeld said, we're rooting for clothing.
Right? Like, what am I doing? Now, did I cheer when my team won? Yes. Was I sad when they lost? Yes. But there are moments I am self-aware to realize I am participating in all this.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to point fingers and be like, you people, I take it too serious.
Mm-hmm. But even though we take it too serious, and you've said that you're glad your daughters didn't play basketball because you would have been that parent, not over the top shoot a ref parent though. You would have been fussing at them too much and into it, and hey, you gotta. But they chose a sport that you didn't have as much knowledge of. Yes. Even if they had both played basketball, you are not about to pull and bust a cap in a ref. That's just
correct.
You know what I'm saying? Cross that line.
Yes.
That's not one line. That's line.
That's a lot of lines.
And to even think about that and then act on that thought is what we, you know what I mean?
It takes a lot to get to that point. Oh. And yet, I'm not saying that you're either or. There's different stages of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I've tried to be self-aware. Like I told you, had the girls played basketball, I would have made it a thing at the dinner table, using the salt and pepper shaker. See, you got to hit that short corner. I would have done that. I know I would have done that.
Mm-hmm.
I would have probably been more animated with the officials and with the coach if I understood what was going on.
Yeah.
So it really was beneficial for them to play field hockey and lacrosse. I'm like, is that a good thing? Yeah. I don't know. I think it worked out better for me that was the case. But even if they'd have played basketball, no, I'm not fighting. I'm not going to yell at them. I'm not going to fight the coach. I'm not going to, fight an official or anything like that. I'm definitely not going to do that. And most people aren't. And I'm saying, when I say we take it serious, I'm not saying that most people are one step away from shooting an official or shooting a coach. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying in general, we are all taking this a little too serious, which opens the door for people with other things going on to take it. I mean, we see it all the time. The videos of people punching a TV and come on, man. I've never been that mad to break my own stuff.
Right.
I've never been so mad at a team or a player to burn something I already own.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's me, I've got all kinds of jerseys.
Yep.
If one of those people did something, I just don't wear it. Like, I got a Penn State football jersey for whatever reason. All that stuff went on at Penn State. I just didn't wear it. I didn't burn it. That's dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Burning your own stuff.
Yeah.
That's just a dumb thing. And we all take it too serious, but there's degrees to that as well. But no, I don't think that the average person is going to shoot someone, even if it's over the Super Bowl. I don't think people would get to that point, but
no.
It's crazy out there. It is crazy the amount of people that take sports to places that I wouldn't go, particularly at youth events.
Yeah. In front of kids who you're supposed to be setting an example for and molding and shaping, and then they're the ones that see this at 7, 8, 9 years old for,
And you've touched so many lives with that one act.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. It's not just the one person whose life was ended. That's a ripple effect.
Yeah. Yeah. So, whew. Kevin McGuffey's on his way.
Awesome.
I didn't catch every single weekend, but you and I both peeked in at the big three throughout the summer, and the season just concluded. And the times I wasn't watching, you would text me, and Briscoe and Jody Meeks out there, and Briscoe just won him a chip with Trilogy, and so he was. You saw him with the trophy, and just
he was
him, and oh man, just congratulations to him, because
the Trilogy. It was just, and I know it was Earl Clark that played at Louisville, and I can't remember the other big, because the thing about the 3-on-3 is you've got to figure out. Do I need a guard, a wing, or big? Trilogy went with two bigs. Although Earl Clark is versatile, he's still a big, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was basically a lot of screen action for Briscoe and just letting him work. And watching him play, number one, I think his time in Lexington, we don't support him. We don't think of him highly enough. He played out of position. He played really, really well, but I think he was underappreciated. So I am glad for him to have some success. And people say, oh, it's just the big three. Hey, there's dudes in that league. And maybe 5-on-5 ain't working for him anymore, but there's some dudes. It's not just a random grouping of people. There's still some dudes that can go get you a bucket. So I'm hopeful that maybe in this preseason for the NBA, Briscoe gets another look. I think he's still got enough game to come in and, be your 12th man. Give your starter some run. I think hopefully he can use that as a springboard like ISO Joe.
Yeah, because he's had a journey already. He was up there and up your way for a while, wasn't he, in Iowa?
He was part of the Iowa Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
It never worked that I was able to go see him every time because they were playing kind of an irregular schedule. So I didn't see him when I wanted to, but he's kind of bounced around. He deserves another shot.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So congratulations to him on being a pivotal component to Trilogy's third championship. And so they're coming back trying to win number 4 next year. We got our guest backstage because, like I say, we're on Roku now. You can see us. You get your Roku devices. Go to BS3 Network. You can see us each and every episode. This one, as soon as it drops, will be up. He's the master control supervisor at WLEX. As we mentioned before, he contributes to the last word on college football, particularly about our Kentucky Wildcats. He got a good article up now about the tight ends. We're talking about none other than friend of the show, been on here multiple times, Kevin McGuffey. Kevin, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me again, as always. It's a pleasure to be on with you guys. Talk some UK football. I can't believe the season's almost here.
Absolutely.
You still got that Golden State Warriors glow too. You're basking in that championship glow of the Warriors also. Let's
Yeah, I'm in our office and I'm trying. There's like a big bright light like right over top of me, and you probably saw me. I was trying to like open the blinds and the blinds won't open. I'm trying to turn the light out. So, yeah. So sorry about the halo effect. Yeah. Yeah. The last time I was on with you guys, yeah. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. It took me a minute. Sorry, Terry. It took me a minute. I was like, "What is he doing?" I'm already putting people to sleep. Only on 30 seconds. Yeah. Who would have thought that out of all this worked out, Golden State would have won the championship again? So I'm pretty excited about it. Obviously, was not expecting it. Even when it got to that point, because I grew up a Celtics fan. I mean, I will admit Larry Bird was my hero. Non-Kentucky basketball person. He was my guy. But I've always kind of followed the Celtics, and seeing them at Golden State together, playing together was pretty cool. And then, like I said, and then they won, and it's been a lot of fun. I got to give a shout out to my wife, Rachel. She got me this Golden State like fan pack for like our anniversary. So came with like a championship hat and a shirt and like some koozies, like all this stuff that I probably never, I'll wear the shirt and the hat and the other stuff. The kids are like, "Ooh, can we have these?" I'm like, "Sure." But yeah, it was pretty incredible, that whole series and that whole run. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens next year. I don't think they're going to get KD. And the funny thing is, like, even as a Golden State fan, I don't think I wanted him back to begin with. I don't know what your guys' take is on all that, but
I just want to see he's him and Steve Nash. They're gonna have a meeting. They're gonna patch it up because I want out of here. I want him fired. Well,
yeah,
I want to stay. I'm cool. I'm back. I'm gonna stay with you guys here in Brooklyn. So we'll see.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't even. I was like, nah, he can stay, because there was that whole thing they were going to trade all these guys. I'm like, nah, we're good.
He had no juice. He had no juice for the trade.
No, you're right. He really didn't. And that's kind of the thing these days. I guess you just see try to get some leverage, and he really, I guess, realized he didn't have any, and so that was pretty much it. So. But yeah, so I'll do this one more time. Okay, now
there we go. All right.
I want to see somebody like on the UK like football team or somebody do that this year after like after a sack or a big play or something. See them break that out. But anyway, like I said, yeah, like I said in the beginning, we're less than just a little over a week away, and I couldn't be more excited about the season this year. I think it's going to be, it's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll, expectations are high. We're at that point now where, like a 7 Kentucky wins, like when, in the old days, 5 years ago, we've been thrilled to death if Kentucky went 7-5, and, we're almost at that point now. It's like 7 wins. Really? That's all we got,
So what are you thinking as far as wins for this year? If you go kind of, I know Chris Doring of the SEC Network's got 11-1 with a 1 loss to Tennessee, which, would make Vinny unhappy being down there in Knoxville. But when you look at the schedule, there are 11 winnable games on there.
There are.
Maybe even 12, depending on the conditions of the Georgia game. So it's not crazy talk to me.
No, it's really not. I'm doing. You mentioned. Thank you for mentioning the tight ends. I'm going through doing like every couple of days a preview of all the positions for the team. Starting quarterback, did running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. The offensive and defensive line will drop, I think, maybe tomorrow, and then I've got the linebackers and secondary to finish. And then after that is my predictions, which is always one of the more fun things I do every year. I'm a guy. I'm notoriously conservative with my picks. Right now I'm thinking 9-3. But 10-2, you can make, as you said, you can make a case for 10-2, you make a case for 11-1. I don't know that they can beat Georgia even here, but it's going to be, it's certainly going to be fun. The game that I'm kind of have pegged as an L right now is Ole Miss. And then, like I said, the Tennessee, I think they can beat Florida, even if, I didn't get to hear what you guys were talking about before. Even if Chris Rodriguez is not playing, I still think they can beat Florida. I don't think Florida, especially the second game of the season, I don't think Florida is going to be that good. I really, really want to beat Tennessee. I know there was I think it was in the Herald Leader. There was one of the writers had posted like, is there a way Kentucky could go 11-1 and everybody still be mad? If that one loss was to Tennessee, and it makes a good point. It's like, okay, yeah, I don't. Like I said, I'm leaning 9-3, 10-2. I'm thinking losses to Georgia and losses to Ole Miss, and and then the Tennessee game, I'm kind of on the fence. But I really think they're going to, after last year, they're going to be really fired up and take it to them like they did down in Knoxville 2 years ago, because that was one of the most fun games I can remember.
Yes.
Right.
Just sitting there watching that, the back-to-back interceptions with the touchdowns and everything. I was just like, we're all watching like, yeah, trying to,
they pulled
try
the
not to get
starter.
too excited, but
They
anyway.
pulled the starter and the backup came in through a pick. I was like,
I know. I remember that. I was like, oh, who else they got in there? Somebody else come in. Maybe they can throw a pick as well. But yeah, like I said, I'm on the fence. 9-3, 10-2. I think I had them going. Spoiler alert, but that's okay. I think I had them. A lot of people have said this. I also do some bowl projections for last word, and I had them what used to be the Outback Bowl. It's not the Outback Bowl anymore. It's it was the Tampa Bay Bowl for about a week, and now it's like the insert corporate sponsorship Reliance Quest or something bowl now. So, and I had them play Michigan State, which I think would be a fun. We finally got that matchup with Iowa that we've been wanting for years. With the Stoops and his alma mater, and and then yes, there is that too.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, and so we got that, and so I think Michigan State would, even I can't remember the last time they played or if they've ever played, but there is kind of that rivalry now with where Kentucky, with Vince Marrow and the guys, going in and taking all these great players out of Michigan, and Mel Tucker accidentally leaving Kentucky off his top 25 ballot at the end of the year last year, in the coaches poll, and
trying desperately to get Vince Marrow to come up there.
That's right. Now he got was it Clinkscale, right? The former secondaries coach. Now he did leave, and I remember they threw like the world at Vince Marrow, and he said no, and obviously I'm selfish. I think he made the right decision staying here, but I think that would be a really fun matchup. But who's not? If they go 10-2, I think they have a good chance at maybe, it could be the team for the Sugar Bowl. I mean, it could be between them and Texas A&M, maybe. But like I said, right now I have to like Sunday, I think, to get this. So anyway, I'm like 9-3, 10-2, something like that. That's what I'm thinking right now. What do you guys think about?
Well, I think I said 11-1 simply because you can look, and if you go game by game, and I temper that by saying 9-3 would not be a disappointment to me.
No.
10-2 obviously not be a disappointment. I don't think we're to the point where Kentucky can win 10 regular season football games and be disappointed, even if one of those is the Tennessee.
Yeah.
We're not to that point yet.
Mm-mm.
We're not to the point of getting 10 wins every year. I tell people that's a very short list.
Right.
Even if you say the schedule is favorable, 10 wins every season, that's Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Clemson when they're on there. That's about it when you look across the country. So getting to 9 wins would not be a disappointment for me. Going game by game, I think what keeps a lot of people from really getting on that 11-1 is just Kentucky football in the history. Like it just
Right.
sounds weird to say 10-win Kentucky to me.
Mhm.
But other than that, you can go game by game, and you know some games are toss-ups. But if I told you, hey, Kevin, Kentucky beat Florida in Gainesville, not that big a surprise, right? Even going down to Knoxville, not that big a surprise. About the only surprise on the schedule would be Georgia.
Hmm.
And if it's a situation, Vinny, I got to paint the picture for Kevin, right? You
Mhm.
know, if it comes down to where it's Georgia and Kentucky, the winner goes to Atlanta. It's the toward the end of the year. It's a night game. Game day is there for ESPN. SEC Nation has been in Lexington all week. Feinbaum's there on Friday. You know, you bring back, I don't know who they would have to be the guest picker, but you've got all that.
It's 20 degrees.
I like Kentucky's chances. Now, if it comes
Uh-huh.
to that point, that's the kind of atmosphere I think Kentucky could win. That would be a surprise. Maybe not as big a surprise as LSU in 07. I'm going to date myself. Not as big a surprise as Alabama in 97. But yeah,
I was there. I may or may not have run out on the field after after that game. We were, buddy of mine, we were in like section, I can't remember, like close to the end zone, and we were like, okay, if they win, we got to do it. It's like,
yeah, absolutely. So
whatever happens, happens. So
Yeah.
it's to that point where not to overlook teams,
Mhm.
but it's like, okay, that's Vandy, that's Missouri, even South Carolina. So it's a good position to be in. Now we're at that position where we have to, I'm saying we, like I'm going out there, but Kentucky's got to beat Georgia.
Right.
Like to make that next leap, to make that next jump, you've got to start winning some of those games. That's how you kind of earn that national respect.
And if Kentucky did go 11-1, and that loss was to Tennessee, which I'm kind of bracing. That's probably how it would play out. The 98 team won a championship, lost to Louisville. We brushed that Louisville loss aside. When March rolled around, we weren't still like, but man, they lost to Louisville in December. So 11-1 probably means Kentucky's winning the East. So if they're going to Atlanta and that one loss to Tennessee, I'll we'll get them next year.
Going to Atlanta cures a lot of ills.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Oh gosh, yeah, it sure would. And like I said, it would. We'd have to listen to Tennessee fans, smack talk or whatever. I'd just be like, okay, we're in Atlanta, y'all not, so just go away.
And just pull up the SEC East standings for last year. How many years we finished ahead of them?
It's been a while.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere, wasn't it like Kentucky's like 40-23 the last few years, and Tennessee's like barely 500 or something. But
because we were, looking down at them in the standings last year. Yeah, they won. Shouldn't have won. That pick six was a killer. We had them beat. We've said that for years and years. But when the 8 games were played, it was Georgia, Kentucky, and then wherever Tennessee was on that. We was looking down at y'all in the standings. I do know that.
It's becoming like the men's basketball program. We beat you head to. We're not worried about beating Tennessee head to head. Like we've moved beyond that. Y'all focus on beating on us. We trying to get to a Final Four. That's 2 different things.
Yeah, well, they need to focus on trying to get to Final Four too. But since Tennessee, since Tennessee's never been to one. But
that is correct.
Anyway, if any Vol fans are watching, whatever.
If the Vol fans are watching, they knew what they were getting. You knew what this was. When you tuned into
it's called Cats Talk. I mean, really.
Except for the few people, we used to get people way back when, Vinny, that thought it was like for like house cats and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And so we would get some comments like, "I thought this was going to be about." Okay, so those people were a little disappointed tuning in. But
oh my gosh,
I don't know. We've got. There's enough blue on this program. They should know.
That's hilarious. Thought it was a show about cats.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sure did. And get some little cat followers on Twitter, like house cat. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's sure did.
I was say just randomly there. I know there's somebody that I follow or follows. I can't remember who it is now, but they're like Saturday is like Catter Day, and I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of the same thing. It's like, okay, this could be talked about Kentucky. Then I scroll down, and it's nothing but like show me pictures of your cats.
Yeah.
It's like
Absolutely.
I was like, okay, this is not what I was expecting, but it's fine. I mean, I'm a dog person, but we have Tippy, the wonder dog we like to call him. He's a half Shih Tzu, half Bichon, so he's pretty he's pretty cool. He's great, been great for our family. But anyway, so that way I've already gotten us off topic here, but
one last thing about pictures, I gotta say, I love
Yes.
your family pictures of your kids.
Oh,
Your
thank
daughter
you.
always has a smile. Your son forever looks like he wants to be anywhere but where he is.
Yeah, no,
And
you're right. You're right. And thank you. Yeah, basically the secret with Ryan is that we try to do like 1, 2, 3, and you take the picture on 2, and then if he's not expecting it, then he might actually smile. But yeah, no, every one of his he always just looks like he's like he's trying to play football or trying to be a tough guy or whatever. But
yeah, and no matter where you are, there's beautiful backgrounds. You're by the falls. You're at this site.
yeah,
It's like wherever he is, he's there against his will. Now your daughter's just beaming, having the time of her life, and your son's just like he's
yeah.
been
No,
kidnapped.
you're exactly right. Yeah, like I said, my son Ryan, he's a sophomore at Lafayette. And my daughter is in 7th grade. She's at SCAPA, which is the school for creative performing arts. They both play violin. I don't think you can hear it. She's actually practicing right now downstairs. So that's why I'm up here with the office closed. So, but no, thank you. Yeah, they're like I said, I can't believe he's already. I'm being very honest. I'm somewhere between 5'6" and 5'7" on a good day, and he's already like 5'9". It kind of it used to bug me a little bit. He would walk in and he would like pet me on the head. He'd like, "Hello, Daddy."
Oh,
I'm like, nah.
We know how the kids are. My
Mm.
oldest she's 5'11", so she's right at me, and she's
Gotcha.
playing lacrosse now. So yeah, she's
Right. I was trying to remember how old like each of your all's kids were, but
16 and 13, and
okay.
she's getting some college interest on lacrosse, which we
Cool.
were talking about earlier. I don't know anything about lacrosse, but if they'll cover college,
Right.
Go for it. I'm all about it.
Absolutely. So we're almost about the same because Ryan will be 15. Ryan will be 15 in October at Mary Beth's 12. So we're right, kind of about that same thing. But it's funny. I can't. He won't smile sometimes he smiles and it's like, okay, don't smile. Like he does like this really weird. He's like, or used to. He as he's gotten older, he's not. Not that way anymore. But if any, I did sorry, I mean, cut you off. How old are yours?
I'm 13 and 9.
13 now. Okay, so we're
a couple years behind y'all, but pretty much
we're
general vicinity.
We're all kind of in that same neighborhood. But
both of them, all 3 sets, 3 or 4 years apart. We all had that little space in between them.
Yeah, but I love it. Kevin and his family, wherever they are, and I'm like, oh, that's great. And then just your daughter's beaming, your son's like, I want to be anywhere but here. Like you all kidnapped him on the way. I show the pictures to my wife, and I'm not laughing. It's just funny that he's just like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah, we were like, we went to. We hadn't been on a vacation in 2 or 3 years, and we went to Asheville, down the mountains, and hiked and all this stuff. And every one of the pictures, as you said, we're on top of whatever, the highest peak is there in the Blue Ridge Mountains, and Mary Beth's like, oh, this is so cool, and Ryan's like,
yeah, love it. I had to bring it
anyway,
up.
That's totally fine. He's trying to be cool, but yeah,
we've all tried to be cool one time or another, right, Vinny?
That's right.
I gave that up in 2009, so
yeah. Like I said, I tried to be, but like I said, once you get to the point now, like I said, where he's about 2 inches taller than me, then just pets me on the head, to make fun of losing, get a little shiny up there, but so I'm like, hey, you're lucky because both your grandparents, both had kept their hair. I was like, my mom's grandfather was bald by the time he was like 30, I think. I was like, well, that does it for me. But
There you go.
but I was gonna say, going back to what you said, I think it's awesome that we're getting to the point now with Kentucky that, as I said, and as you guys reiterated, that like we win 7 games, it's like, okay, it's like, oh well, we're almost expecting now that 8, 9, even 8 wins, 8 and 4 is like, nah, okay. That's we're like you're getting to the point now. It's a down year, and it's awesome. And I've never thought I've always hoped we get to this point, but because I watched a lot of bad. I think I told you about this the last time I was on with you. My dad and I had season tickets throughout like the 1980s, and we watched a lot of bad. We watched a lot of great teams coming here. We watched a lot of bad football, and it was. Yeah, like is this ever gonna, ever gonna work? You think about it with Stoops. He was 12. I always like to bring this up when I'm on with Mark Rogers. So shout out to him. Going into Stoops' 4th year, he was 12 and 26, and at what probably very few schools would have kept him on. And Mitch Barnhart, say what you want, I'm not touching that whole.
Oh yeah, we woo. That's a hornet's nest inside a bee's nest inside a fire ant hill. But go ahead.
Yeah, and to his credit, he stayed with Coach Stoops, and look where we are now. He's like 40 and was it like 42 and 25 or something? I think since then, and he just needed time to get some players in, get the kind of team that he was looking for, and you're seeing the results now. 6 bowl games, 4 straight wins, and should be 5 again this year. And like I said, I think it's great to be in that place where they are right now. Like the only thing that I worry about the schedule, like you mentioned the Tennessee game last year, we always, and it's not just Kentucky, everybody does this. Everybody has that one game where they just are just flat. Yeah. And it's just, nothing. And Kentucky has one every year. It's like 2 years ago was the Ole Miss game, and for the unfortunate, me being a former kicker, I just crushed me when, Ruffalo missed the extra point, and we lost to, lost to Ole Miss, that way. And then the Tennessee game last year. And then you go back to like 2018, the Tennessee game, down there where we should have, beaten them soundly. But that's the only thing. There's always that one game, and it's always trying to figure out, okay, which game, like I said, Vandy, I think we're going to be fine. So, South Carolina, for all their talk, everybody like national media seems to be all over was, Spencer Rattler and all this, but I'm like, I didn't think he was that good at Oklahoma, but that's just,
that's just me. They don't even play defense out there in the Big 12. And
that's right.
You get somebody out there with, going up against, Alabama defense or, Georgia or even a Kentucky defense,
right.
I think but anyway, that's just my point.
I caught flack for this, Kevin, leading up to the bowl game, talking about Iowa. And I said on here and other places, Kentucky should want to strive to be Iowa. Mm-hmm. And people, well, hold on. Like right now, Iowa has won like 6 or 7 straight against Iowa State. They've won like 8 of 9 of 10 against Nebraska. The rivalry games he owns, Ferentz owns. And every now and then, like the last time they played Ohio State, they'll remind you it was like 55-17 a few years ago. Like that's where Kentucky, I don't think we're going to catch Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Clemson, right? But I do think you can get into a situation where you're a 9 or 10 win team. You're beating your rivals consistently. If the schedule falls right and your roster falls right, you can have a pretty special year. To me, I think that's a pretty good place to be when it comes to college football. Because if you're not going to be upper level, you've got to find a niche where you can kind of fit in and do your thing. And I think Kentucky can do that in the SEC. Beat Louisville, right? We want to beat Louisville. Beat Tennessee, beat Florida, right? You want to beat those schools consistently. but jump up and get Georgia every now and then, right? Get one of those games to keep everybody hoping.
Right. No, that's a very good point. And I think I remember that. Like I said, with Iowa, Iowa's a good, solid. They're usually the number 2 in their conference every year.
Yeah.
You got obviously Ohio State on one side, and then you have, who I'm trying to think who's even in
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, Wisconsin is the one that trips them up every now and then.
Yeah, we don't speak that name, but anyway.
Yeah.
Right. Just talking about basketball, but no, I think it's a very good comparison. You would want to be like, if you're Kentucky, obviously you want to be the top, pardon the pun, the top dog. You want to be where Georgia is, but there's nothing wrong with being number 2 and trying to get to that point. But you think about it, they've won 2 out of the last 4 against Florida, like 6 out of 7 against South Carolina and Missouri, and went through those years. Yeah, went through those years when James Franklin was at Vandy, where we got thumped pretty good. But they've gotten, Vandy's given us a scare a couple of times, but we've still, the Cats have still pulled it out, and now beaten Florida twice in the last 4 years, and then we just, as you said, need to get to that point where you get, with Florida and Tennessee especially, you need to get that win every other year. If not, get to the point where, okay, we know we got them at home, we're going to win, or we're going to maybe pull an upset on the road. But yeah, no, I think it's a very good comparison, because there's nothing, the Iowa football program has been good, and has been good for a long time, and I would think a coach would like to say, hey, we're consistently 8, 9, 10 wins every year, and going to like a New Year's Day bowl game. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and fairness has had some dips, right? But also, like this past year, things line up and you can get 10 regular season wins, even with an offense as bad as theirs was for most of the year.
Yeah.
So I'm not celebrating mediocrity. I'm just saying, realistically, where is Kentucky going to fit into the college football landscape? If we go to every year, every season, we start and end it ranked, to me, that's a win. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
How many decades did we go not being ranked at all?
Oh, yeah.
Right. And I think, isn't this year the first time ever that they're ranked in both polls in the preseason, I believe?
Yeah.
Like the AP and the coaches poll. So,
yeah.
And of course, when to go back to my Michigan State thing, I think I even tweeted, I said, I wonder if Mel Tucker voted for him. But anyway, in the coaches poll. But no, that's right. Like I said, you think about how bad this program was. Like in the, God, love Jerry Claiborne, but there was some bad. We had. I think, I don't know if the teams were that bad. I think they just had ridiculously overscheduled. Because I don't know if you guys remember, they'd have like Oklahoma come in here, and I think they played Clemson one year. It's like I said, we saw a lot of great. Remember, South Carolina. I remember watching, I think, George Rogers, run for like 9,000 yards or something against them. But then, like I said, you think about Joker. Where the program was when Joker was let go, and where it is now. It's just unbelievable. And in that 10 years, and I guess when they kick off next Saturday, Stoops will be officially the longest tenured coach in Kentucky football history. So it needs 2 wins. I think it's 2 wins to tie Bear Bryant for it's either 1 win to tie to take the lead for all time wins. I can't remember, or if it's 2 and 3, but
and to put it in perspective, Van House, friend of the show, he and A. White got the locker. Van said during his time in Kentucky, the team won 17 games. And so if the team has a disappointing 7-5 finish this year, that's over 2 years, 17 wins. That to me just speaks volumes about how the program has just grown and evolved.
Yeah, no, you guys, you're exactly right. It's pretty, it's pretty amazing to see where we are, where the program is from where it started. So, you can't say enough things about what Coach Stoops, Coach Marrow, what this staff has done. It's just been, it's been a heck of a ride, and I'm not, whatever cliche, it's been a heck of a ride. I'm not ready for it to stop, and keep going till we reach the top. Okay, sorry.
Absolutely. I just don't want any more. I don't want any more infighting amongst our amongst the athletic
Oh my
department.
gosh.
Let's fight
Yeah.
outside, not inside.
Yeah, somebody had made the comment. I can't remember if it was at work or so. Like with the Stoops and Calipari thing. Which one? Like trying to compare it to the Avengers. Which one's Captain America and which one's or excuse me, which one's Iron Man and which one's Captain America. So we haven't got to that. We're my talking about my kids. We're watching all the Marvel movies right now. So
I was going to ask you how that's going. Where have you all left off?
Well, we just finished the Hulk. So anyway. So next up is the first Thor movie. So that's where we are. They decided for whatever reason, I don't know, they read something online that they wanted to watch them not in the way they were released, but in like chronological order.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so if we started with Captain America, then Captain Marvel, and I remember you made the comment, is that, so that's really cool, but like the stuff at the end of the movies don't make any sense.
The credit scenes don't make sense.
Yeah.
My wife, I got her. Look, we trade off. I watch Downton Abbey.
Mm-hmm.
I've got her watching the Marvel movies. So we've made it through. I think we're up to Black Panther. So we just finished Spider-Man: Homecoming, and then Thor: Ragnarok. So she's enjoying it. The issue is watching them straight through. It all blends together.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll be talking about, did you like this? She's like, what movie was that from?
Yeah, I can see that.
And so it all kind of blends in. I remember even Gwyneth Paltrow was doing an interview and they asked her about a scene in Spider-Man. And she's like, I wasn't in Spider-Man. And they're like, yeah, at the end. But apparently they just have them come film scenes and they don't, the actors don't exactly know where it's going to fit. So anyway, to get sidetracked, you were making
that's
analogy and I jumped in, but
no, that's cool. Like I said, my kids were not, they've liked them all so far. They didn't really care for Hulk, which I didn't really, didn't really care for that one that much either. But,
right.
We grew up on Bill Bixby, so it was a little different.
I totally forgot that he was in the movie, or not. I mean, not Bill Bixby, Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah.
He has and I had totally forgotten, and he popped up, and I was like,
right. That's my Hulk.
Even my wife was like, "Hey, isn't that?" I'm like, "Yeah."
But don't let your kids watch the original Hulk with the Bill Bixby. Don't let that happen, because I did that, and my youngest just said, "So they just painted somebody green?"
Look,
and I'm like, "Look, in 1980, that was that."
Yes.
Kids will humble you, man. Like that was the best
wow.
ever.
That was amazing back then. That was, and you can't tell us any different because we all
we've been completely sidetracked, Kevin. We apologize.
That's okay. I have that habit. I don't know. I've been on here with you guys, and we just go like all over the place. But I was just speaking about real quick, like the Incredible Hulk. But then, MeTV. I work at WLEX. And MeTV is one of our sub channels, and they started showing the A-Team.
Yeah.
Reruns. And I was like, when I was 13, 14, that was like must see. That was my must see TV. You watch it now and it's like, oh my gosh, this is so, so cheesy and kind of dated. But, like I said, Friday nights, if I wasn't, because it was on Friday nights, I think it's like, we had, my dad, our big purchase one year, we got the VCR, like one of those big jumbo, like 700, I don't know how much it costs really, but and that was, I would like set the thing and record the 8 because I'll be playing football on Friday nights, and that was my Saturday morning. I get up and watch the recording of the A-Team the next night. But
with the A-Team band, I loved it. Yeah, and you watch those 80s shows, it's like, man, whew, it was a simpler time, Vinny Hardy. I know you're not as old as I am, Vinny, but
that's right. Hey, Kevin, I'm pretty sure. Real quick, Kevin, before we end it, I gotta get your thought. I got 2 news questions real quick. Terry's going to make fun of me. He's going to roll his eyes. He's going to be embarrassed. But who better to ask than you? We had Keith Farmer on. I asked him the same thing. So I'm going to ask you real quick. Now, just to set the scene, I was born and raised in Southeastern Kentucky. We were in everybody's market. We got WYMT out of Hazard, got WCYB out of Bristol, We got Knoxville news. We got Lexington news. We got, all four of those just kind of crisscross where I grew up at. You remember when Jimmy Rose out of Pineville won America's Got Talent a few years ago, 4 or 5, 6 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
I thought, the Knoxville News comes on and they got somebody up there in Pineville and they're kind of celebrating it, and it was kind of like the lead story. And I felt like, I know Pineville's in the market, but it felt like they were just kind of trying to claim him. I'm like, why are y'all up here in Pineville? So am I wrong for that? And then I got another news gripe for you after that.
Oh, okay. You want me to answer that first?
Yeah.
I don't. I'd say I don't have an answer, but no. I think, sometimes people we just like in the news, they find a story. It doesn't necessarily have to be in their market. It can be close to it. And, it's because like for Pineville, I don't know. I don't know. Did you guys get the Lexington stations in Pineville, or?
They should. I was about an hour from Pineville. Pineville's about an hour from Knoxville, about 80 miles from Knoxville.
Okay.
Why y'all sent somebody up here? I mean, it wasn't like it was right beside a Neyland Stadium. Hey, our guy just won it. They were up here in Kentucky and drove an hour to this kind of. I felt like hey, this is our guy. Leave him alone. That's where I felt.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's just one of those. Okay, it's close enough that it's worth having somebody drive up there and do something about.
Very embarrassed. He did this when Keith was on too. He was like, Vinny.
You don't have to entertain his old man yelling at the clouds.
Look, I ain't worried about.
He's very territorial about the news.
Listen, here's my second gripe. My second. I'm like, because I asked Keith this. I live down here outside Knoxville now.
Right.
And the Knoxville News is just going to randomly talk about a wreck on Nicholasville Road. I'm like, why are they talking about that? I was like, are you guys going to talk about a wreck on Kingston Pike down here on a random Tuesday evening? I didn't understand that.
No, I don't have an answer for that one. Unless there was like a Knoxville or like a Tennessee connection or something that somebody, and because that used to be like one of our big catchphrases, like it's a Kentucky connection with such and such and such and such. But now we will do like now if there's an accident like Jellicoe Mountain or something.
Okay.
We usually they'll have somebody do something about it. But no, I don't have an answer for that one. But I have to
Nicholasville Road. I said that's a stretch. Where are y'all?
Yeah, that is a stretch. I have real quick, if y'all don't mind. Keith, he probably wouldn't tell you this. He maybe would have. Going way back, showing our age. Keith and I both went to Moorhead together, and we were in school together. And he and I were the Moorhead State TV-12 sports team. So we did. He did, I think, Tuesdays, and I did Thursdays. So we were the sports guys. Back then. So I've known him. Gosh, 30. I think he just had a birthday. I think he's the same age as me now. So I've known him almost 30 years. So, great guy. He was like, I think Sportscaster of the Year, a couple years ago, and much deserved. He does a great job. Anna Tarullo. I know you guys have had her on, I believe. She's awesome, and Maggie, Maggie as well. Maggie Davis. They do. Not just. They do a really, really great job with that, with the BBN Tonight Show. And Jesse, I'll say something about Jesse too. No. He does. They do. To have content like 5 days a week. All this UK stuff, and they do. If you ever get a chance, BBN Tonight. You can watch it online. Check it out. They all do an amazing job. We got a special football preview special coming up. It's going to air on Saturday. It's going to be really, really good. It's, if anybody, go out of your way to try to watch it. But yeah, like I said, I don't, the second one, the first one, I'd say it's close enough that to do a story on. The second one, yeah, I got nothing.
Fair enough.
This happened like 3 years ago, Kevin. Don't entertain this stuff.
Hey,
he's bringing up old grapes.
It's all right, man.
That's okay.
Why y'all preempted my Andy Griffith show?
Oh, Morty. I tell you what.
Who better to ask than you? And you and Keith Farmer are both good people, and we got to get you back on once the season starts too, man, to see how we're progressing out here on the
Yeah,
field.
I would be honored to, man. It is so great when you guys like saw that message. Hey, you want to be on? I'm like, yes.
All
So
right.
you know,
Appreciate
like I said, I sit here. I have one more quick question. Sorry, I know you guys probably are short on time. In my head, I thought you and Katie had gone to that Field of Dreams game. Was I mistaken? Somewhere I thought I read that you guys were actually going because I kept seeing all these videos and pictures of you all out in the cornfields and all this stuff.
About that, for the Field of Dreams game, if you're an Iowa resident, so many of those tickets go to Iowa residents, but it's a lottery. We did not win. But the funny thing is, we moved into our house a little over a month ago. There's a cornfield out back, like right up to our backyard. And why not? So I said to myself, as soon as we moved in, I said, I'm going to be ridiculous. So she's such a patient woman. She did film me doing the Field of Dreams coming out of the cornfield for us. So we did not go, but there's cornfields all over, so I just use that as a prompt.
It is Iowa. So I grew up.
Yes.
I grew up on a farm. My dad raised corn, and that's how we discovered that I had a massive corn allergy. So growing up. And it was like, hey, get up there in the corn crib and knock the corn down so we can feed the cattle and stuff. And then I would do it. And then all of a sudden, I'd be like, not quite, like a nut allergy, but anyway, that's how we discovered, he might be allergic to corn. So,
yeah.
I can do it in little bits, but anyway, I was thinking about, I wanted to ask you about that because
we didn't go in, to get to the Field of Dreams. It's in the middle of nowhere, Iowa, which is. It's hard to get to. So we may do that at some point, but
I got you. I know Ryan Lemon and his dad.
Yeah, we heard.
I think that. So doesn't because Iowa. I think it's you and what's your Twitter, Mrs. Basketball? I think her name is. I think you're like the only.
She's I don't know where she is, but we're just outside of Des Moines.
Yeah, she's somewhere in Iowa, I think, because I see on Twitter where she's like Iowa this and Iowa that. But anyway, but yeah, no, like I said, Keith's a great guy, and like I said, all the success they've had has been, it's a really, really good show. Throwing in a little plug there for LEX, can't help it.
Absolutely, we love you.
And BBN tonight, so
absolutely, and appreciate you hopping on here. And like I said, we gotta get you back on once the season's rolling.
That'd be great. Like I said, we'll see how our predictions go. Hopefully, we're closer to your 11-1 than my, your all's 11-1 than my 9-3 / 10-2.
But we can't wait to see where you force your son to go next.
That's right. We'll be looking out, man. Be on Twitter and Instagram. Check out all those pictures, and won't be disappointed.
Yeah, I found I had posted one today. It just popped up on my feed. I know you guys. Sorry, you're short on time, but
yeah, I got. I'm gonna have to.
It was 4 years ago. We had Jason Smith from Food Network and Jay Farrow, like on our 12:30 show in the same day, and I was like, "This is the coolest." This is like the coolest thing ever because both those guys were just so totally cool.
I saw that. Look, I got it right there.
Yeah. I think that might be my picture, like on my Instagram page. But anyway, but yeah, that was back in the good old days when we used to have all these, before COVID, before all this stuff, where we got to have all these, all these celebrities on. But anyway, thank you guys so much again. And like I said, maybe next time I'll try not to have such a glow. I'll figure out.
You got that championship glow. We're gonna let you get by this time, man.
Yeah, I'll just show my Kentucky. I think this is the Tax Layer Bowl shirt. It's the one I grabbed for tonight. So, but thank you guys again as always. I appreciate it, and I look forward to
you. Appreciate you taking the time, man. Thank you so much.
All right, see you guys.
See you soon. Kevin McGuffey, LEX18. Last word on college sports.
Yeah.
Got the tight ends article right now. I'll have to retweet that for the show. And D lineman and predictions coming. So y'all definitely check that out. Beat me in. We got it up in here, man. Another good episode. And we might have to be wiggling and finagling a little bit in the next couple of weeks, but we'll still get the little blurbs out to the folks and keep doing what we do. Like you said, stay in their consciousness.
Absolutely, but I had to give Kevin a shout out because his son always looks like he's being held against his will.
Got
It's
that
just
dour,
hilarious.
it's a
Huh?
dour look on his face.
Yeah, daughter, sunshine. Son just like, what are y'all making me do? Like he's like his community service or something. But that's okay. That's okay. It's great. But another good one, man. We had fun. We gonna get this done because football season is upon us, baby.
Next week, man, be the game week next week. You got your Fan Gear Barn jersey. Shout out to Craig Bates. And hey,
Yeah.
that's it, man. It was fun. Appreciate you.
And this dog is driving me crazy, click clacking up and down this hallway like he pay rent.
Let's
Did you see that video I posted out? He knows how to open up the pantry.
hey.
Open up the pantry and then gonna sigh and look at me. Like I said, you didn't bring nothing in here. See, I've gone from not liking dogs to now I'm trying to negotiate with a dog. Like, close up the door, Sammy. We'll get you some snacks. That's me. This dog click clacking like he pay a bill.
Unbelievable.
Got me fussing like Bernie Mac.
Looking for more adventures to come between y'all.
Yeah, looking at me like I'm small. Like I ain't gonna do nothing. Like, what you gonna do? Boy, here you come. Click clack. In and out. In and out. Anyway, we love you, Sammy.
Yes, we do. We do. And we appreciate everybody who listens and tunes in. And thanks to Kevin McGuffey. Thanks to Terry TB, Tungsten Arm Brown. And we'll be back next Wednesday. Yeah, he knows. He knows.
You ain't doing nothing, Sammy. Anyway, yeah.
We hit this exit, promo, outro, and we'll see everybody next week on Cast Talk Wednesday. Vote for Michelle for the supporter of the year.